Hello everyone, my name is Gilbert Arroyo. This is my presentation on the negative impact of social media. The reason why I chose this presentation specifically is to hopefully shed some light on the forms of social media and how it impacts us in different ways. Not only that, but being a first-hand experiencer of these specifics, I believe that it's very important that anytime we go through something and experience things, that it's our job to share that information with others in hopes that it would benefit them. So let's get started. The facts of social media. Overall, in general, we know that this is a form of communication, whether we're creating, exchanging, sharing, whatever it may be. It's a form that we use via the internet. In today's world, social media is about 3.5 billion users that it contains. And on that average, it's about 2.7 hours a day that those users spend on social media, whether it's surfing the web, news, broadcasting, internet, YouTube. I'm sure we're all aware of the many forms that social media has. And not only that, but I think we can all come to terms that it's not going anywhere. For the past decade, it's shown a rise in a ton of areas, whether it's advertising, marketing, a form of socialization, connecting people. They say that that's the goal, and it does in fact do that. And so these are just some of the basic understandings of what it is. Here we are with the facts of impact on education. We know that vastly due to COVID-19, up until now, education has taken on the form of e-learning. And so what that means is that there is a drop in decline of face-to-face contact in the normal school setting, as we all have grown up and seen throughout the years. We know what that looks like. But today it's very much different. And because of the internet and social media, there is in fact that new wave that has come. But unfortunately, it's caused a lot of isolation and very much so with relationship issues. Today we can even be considered antisocial because we have become distracted with the things that go on in the internet, everything that it presents us, all its advertising, its marketing, and the way we like to keep up with our friends and all those things. Not only that, but it also leaves room for a lack of security. We've seen time and time again where information is lost, stolen, for ourselves, for our workplaces, and specifically so also on education as well. And moving on to the next slide, we have the facts of personal impact. I'm sure you've seen these small facts around social media. There's no going around them. While social media can bring people together and can have a positive highlights, more so than not, it's usually a negative impact, specifically so between 5 to 10% of all users who use social media are in fact addicted. I specifically put that one because I know for myself I've experienced that firsthand. And not only that, but the side effects that can come from being addicted to the ways of social media via the internet. And not only that, but depression, suicide, and mental health are all up there on the causes when it comes to social media and its impact. I think it's very common, very easy to buy and to grab hold of and to conform ourselves to what the social media is doing, what they're saying, and how they're influencing modern culture today. Not only for young children, but specifically more so for young teens and young adults who are easily targeted in this area. I think we need to be aware that we don't always need to buy what they sell. Moving on to the facts of biblical impact. more so talking about our biblical worldview. I think it's very important and vital that we as Christians, and maybe those of us who are non-Christians, can take a look at the eyes of the Bible and realize there's things that we can learn from and do when we look at social media. Specifically, more so, we have Romans 12:2, where Paul is writing a letter to the church and ultimately teaching them and trying to show them, hey, we need to be different. People will not recognize us if we do, act, and say everything like today's culture, like that culture of that time. And following on to the life of Moses, every time he was faced with the challenge of going to Pharaoh and having to stand on the word of God as God sent him, I think that's ultimately what we also need to do, because Ephesians 5 says that we should always do what pleases the Lord. And so I believe that when we can do that, it'll help our understanding of how social media is and how it can get better. And ultimately, we need to ask ourselves, where do we go from here? I think with the negative impact of social media, it shouldn't stay that way. I believe that if we have a negative impact, it's our job to, in a sense, change the polarity, where we take the negative and turn it to positive. And the one way that we can do that is by using our platform. Each of us has a voice, each of us has a platform, each of us has a following that we can ultimately influence the same way that social media influences us and the rest of the world and the rest of the culture. I think that as we who are believers and possibly non-believers who may listen to this, I think it's, again, our job to share the Word of God, to share how we view things in a different light, because I think that will spark the rest of the world. Social media in itself is not bad. It does have good purposes. It does have good use, but I think it's ultimately up to us to change that perspective and to change the polarity and to use it for good. And for those of you who may have experienced some of these negative impacts, I just pray that God will turn these things around for you, and that we can ultimately teach and help others learn how to use it for their benefit, and how social media can be a good thing. So thank you guys for your time. Pray you guys blessings as you go. Bye-bye.